Hello and welcome back. Today we're going to do the weekly recap. But before we get into that, like always, I would like to announce that I do have a Discord. It'll be linked in the description below. Nothing there is monetized, nothing is for sale. There are no courses, mentorships, affiliates, or anything else. So today we're just going to do a regular weekly recap. All right, here we are on the charts. So regarding the two pairs I posted, USD CAD I did enter myself. I was up 3% for the month. This one I did with a full extension. I know someone entered it in the Discord as well. It was Sharker. I believe he hit a full loss somehow. Don't know how, but anyways, it was a really nice trade. I also posted this CR right here. Whoever entered this, really great job. He could have done an extension on this one, half an extension, very nice. Preferably not touching a CR though, they're not like BOs. But very nice hit here. Not much to say on the swap on the pair either, so that's all good. I thought Sharker entered this one as well, but he entered some other pair, and I think he is at BE or some shit. I don't even know. So summarized up, like I mentioned last week, this has been a very nice week. In terms of me referencing the pendulum. The pendulum I'm talking about is, like I always use the example of my wrist, with the BO market being on one side and the SR market being on one side, and it swings between the two. And now we're in a very nice zone because the Iran war has been priced in so well. I'm expecting the market to move the same way next week. And keep in mind that since I'm approaching my monthly max, I don't know what will happen next week, but it could be in two trades. I could hit it. Keep in mind that I won't be trading any more of those days. Other than that, you can see for the first time probably ever within these last months, Iran isn't the number one thing everyone is talking about. For once, it's about some other shit. It's about Starmer's approval rating and him being tanked down and somehow still refusing to resign. But that's not of too much relevancy to us. Something I want to get to is Powell leaving and Warsh taking over. If we look at Warsh's record has been very, very harsh. Or I shouldn't say harsh, it's not really a correct or representative word. A better word would be hawkish on inflation. He is not as worried about the markets as Powell is. He isn't as careful about it, or he shouldn't care. It's a different monetary policy. I shouldn't use the word careful either. He's more hawkish. He prioritizes getting inflation down rather than letting SPY blow up, which is a better Fed in my opinion. But with that in mind, we did see an opening for a potential CR here on gold that formed the 12-hour and the 8-hour as well. It was looking quite interesting, but now I can see it moved up a bit. You can make the point though that SR has moved now because these are the new lows. This is a closed candle and we have touches here. So we do have a 12-hour indecision candle forming on gold. I am a little bit suspect of it dropping though, but we'll see how that develops into next week. But that brings me to my next point. The next point is that with the hawkish Fed, you might think that if he does like 100 basis point increase, right, Warsh, you would think gold pumps and SPY dumps, but no, it actually isn't like that. SPY would react negatively, most likely, yes. Isolated, yes, it does. It is a gravitational pull for SPY, but historically, gold also reacts negatively to increases in interest rates because it is an anti-inflationary measure. It is a fight against inflation. That is what gold is. And interest rates are there to push inflation down. So it gets less attractive as an asset. However, we do have huge state buyers like China buying up intense amounts. But we'll have to see what that new Fed coming in this new era. I remember when we were over here and it was just like moving up, nothing happening. And then Shalom, profit taking, and the gold's been trending down since then. That's going to be quite interesting and a watch. Also, I'm going to make a separate video. I'm talking to my editor on this about the oil I mentioned for a potential long-term trade because of the intense spread difference I'm seeing between UK Brent, that's just the spot price, the speculative price, and real Brent. The spread difference, dated Brent, the spread difference is absolutely insane. Other than that, SPY is at all-time highs. It doesn't seem to care about the war anymore. A lot of that growth I want to mention is driven by AI, like an insane fucking amount. I believe for this quarter, please correct me if I'm wrong, even though it was just 5.2% of capital investment, it was about 90% of GDP growth. I don't remember if that was year over year or for the quarter, but regardless, AI is driving a huge, huge wedge into anyone that's bearish on SPY. And bearish SPY would push the dollar up and create more volatility, which would create more BOs and leave us in the middle pendulum zone that we're in right now, which is quite comfortable. So as for now, going into the next week, I would expect the same results. Hopefully, like usual, hopefully I'll hit my 10% mark for May. If not, that's fine as well. I did that accidental 23% in March with on oil, a single oil trade. And also I will be making a separate video for the long-term potential oil trade and when you could potentially enter that as well if you're interested. And it's not going to be some insane trade, oh, make 50% blah blah. Nah, bro, it's going to be like a 3% trade. So we don't do that kind of stuff. So with that said, I don't see any reason to make the weekly recap any longer than it needs to be. I haven't seen anything in the questionnaire, so there won't be any answers for those tomorrow. The questionnaire is flat out empty. There's nothing here. But I did get a reaction video request. I'm not too big of a fan of those. I feel like I'm stealing content, but I mean, if you guys like it, I can. So, I mean, when I say I'm not too big of a fan, I don't mind doing it like once every second week, but I don't want a reaction channel or anything like that. But with that said, if you did like this content, trading in general, if you're interested in it, feel free to hop in the Discord. It will be linked in the description below. And I will see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.